let's look at the type of. Type, well, let's just type out what is in travel. It's still our array, right? And if we look at type of travel, well, it says it's an object. So an array is just a special object that takes a list of items. Now, an array has some special properties built into it. So we can query those special properties and methods from that object. So let's look at travel.length. By saying I want the travel object, I can put this period here and say give me the property length, and since it's 100, it gives me 100 back. There is also a method called push. Push is a method that pushes things onto the array. So let's push another location onto our array. Let's say I want to go to Branson, Missouri, I guess. Never been there. I've been a little curious about it. So it pushed it on, and it's returning me 101. So it looks like the push is going to return the index here. So let's look at what's actually in our travel array now. Well, you can see that push adds to the end of our array. It doesn't matter that we had some empty spots in here. The push will always put it on the end of the array. Okay, let's look at another method that we can use. Let's look at the pop method. Now, pop means to take an item off the array, and so we don't need to pass any parameter to the pop, and it actually returns us the last value put in. So we put Branson in with a push, and we took Branson out with a pop because it was still the last one. See how it returned that? So if I want to create a variable, and maybe I'll call it last destination from array, and I can assign that to my array.pop, and that will return the last value in my array and get me that value. Now it says undefined because it didn't return it to me on the console, it just returned it by putting it into that variable. So if I look at what's in last destination, and you'll see it was the New York City. So I popped off Branson and I've popped off New York City, so I should have those removed from my travel array. And there we can see they're both gone. First I took off Branson, then I took off New York City. Now I have these empty spots. Let's see what happens if we do the pop again. Let's change our last destination, and since we've already declared that as a variable, we don't have to use var again. We can just say take that same variable that I declared from before and let's change the value and pop off the next one into there. And let's see what we actually get in that value. That's interesting. It gave us the undefined. Why did it give us the undefined? Well, you see we have 95 spots here that are undefined. So if we look at travel, you can see that we popped off one of those empty ones. We're going to have to run pop 94 times to clear that off. Well, do you remember how we can loop through and do something 94 times? Well, we can use a for loop, right? So if we say for var I equals 0, and I is less than 94, and I is incremented, that means we're going to loop through 94 times. Well, what do we want to do each time? Well, we're going to pop the value off, and I don't care what the value was. I'm just going to keep popping them off 94 times so that I get back down to my array of just 4 elements. Let's see how that works. So this ran 94 times. So when I look at my travel array, now I'm back to my 4 elements. Let's look at what our length is now.